If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so you can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Whether you're a solo traveler or planning a family trip, let Acker Travel Company by Dream Vacations help plan your next vacation. They specialize in Disney destinations, cruise lines, and all-inclusive resorts from all over the world. Acker Travel Company by Dream Vacations, a proud sponsor of the Friday Night Press Box podcast. Welcome, everyone, to another edition of the Friday Night Press Box podcast. What a week last week as the Fannin County Rebels defeated the Heard County Braves in the second round to advance to the Elite Eight. This will be our Elite Eight show. Two special guests with us this evening. We will have Fannin County defensive line coach and head wrestling coach, Coach Chuck Patterson. Good friend of mine. If you know Chuck, you love him, and we're excited to talk with Chuck. We'll also talk with Paige Dower from WALB Channel 10 in Albany. Paige will talk Fitzgerald football and give everybody in Fannin County some information about the Fitzgerald football team and what to expect. We'll also talk with Matt Queen and Chris Mathis. My co-host will be Coach Mark Stone. It's going to be a great show. We do have some breaking news to report. The news broke yesterday is Kevin Saunders, head football coach at Gilmer County, has resigned from his position. I believe Saunders went 7-12 during his tenure at Gilmer County. I'm sure Coach Saunders made the move he thought was best for his family, but it's just sad. It's just sad. And it's just sad. But, best wishes to Coach Saunders. You hate it for the Gilmer County kids. We hope they can get a coach there and get some stability there for that program. But nonetheless, this will be our GHSA Elite 8 playoff show, Friday Night Press Box podcast, sponsored by Acker Travel Company by Dream Vacations. Thanks for tuning in. It's a special week for the Fannin County Rebels, obviously coming off a big Sweet 16 victory over Heard County. The Rebels received numerous awards for the Region 7 AA. 21 players were named to the All-Region team. Let's start with two coaches' honors. 7AA Region Coach of the Year was awarded to Chad Cheatham. The 7AA Assistant Coach of the Year was awarded to Chris Thigpen. 7AA Region Player of the Year, Luke Holloway. That's 35 touchdowns, 2 interceptions for Luke Holloway in a record-setting year for the Fannin County Rebels. Micah O'Neill was awarded the 7AA Defensive Player of the Year. Jalen Ingram was first-team offense, 40 catches, 686 yards, 10 touchdowns. Kahutta Hyde was also on first-team offense, 550 yards, receiving 12 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Seth Reese made the All-Region team as an athlete. Just an incredible few weeks for Seth Reese. Mason Bundy, Ricardo Arianes was awarded first-team All-Region on the offensive line. But Mason Bundy, of course, a Liberty commit. Ricardo Arianes also made the first-team offensive line. Dylan Collins, left tackle, second-team All-Region. Andre Bivens was on the second-team All-Region for the Rebels. On the defensive side of the ball, Dalton Ross, first-team All-Region. Logan Long, second-team All-Region. Just going back to Dalton Ross, 9.5 sacks. What a year he's had. Casey Owensby, first-team All-Region. Andrew Waldrop, what a season Casey Owensby had at the linebacker position. Andrew Waldrop, second-team All-Region. James Mercer, second-team All-Region. Carson Collis got first-team All-Region, and so did McKay Turner. Jake Sands was second-team All-Region. Chris Scott, Braden Foster, Caleb Postel, and Jack Katner were also on the honorable mention. So what a year for these Rebels, and a great honor as most of the starters were on the all region. Just a incredible honor, and there was many people on this list that could have been on this list. Some players that could have been on the first team that were on the second team. So just an incredible season for the Fannin County Rebels and these young men. Next, we have a very special guest, Paige Dower with WALB Albany, Channel 10. That's an ABC and NBC affiliate. Paige is the sports director down there. Paige, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, Tim, thank you for having me.
Paige, you're actually making history, as Coach Stone just said, to be the first woman on the Friday Night Press Box podcast. We're excited to have you. Paige, the Fitzgerald Purple Hurricanes are traveling up to Blue Ridge to play Fannin County, a big top 10 matchup in the state of Georgia. A lot of listeners in this area don't know much about Fitzgerald. So would you be kind enough to just talk about the team a little bit? 11-0 on the season, led by head coach Tucker Pruitt, having a good season so far.
Yeah, this is actually their second time that they have had an undefeated season heading into the playoffs. The last time that's actually happened was when they had their lone state title run, and I think it was 1948. So it'd be quite interesting if they could repeat an undefeated season, getting the region title and then also getting the state championship game. But, you know, this is a program and a team that this community loves. They have nothing but buy-in from all of their players. They've made quite a turnaround in this off season that's been kind of restricted with COVID-19, but they've been able to make several changes. In their 2019 season, turnovers was still a top focus for them, talking to Coach Pruitt. And there's our sports reporter, Kyle Logan. He's actually coming back from that area to get a preview for the Fannin game. But, you know, turnovers has been a main focus for the defense. They're a run-centric offense. As you can see with Mario Clark, who I think he had, you know, just under 1,000 rushing yards on the year and 22 touchdowns. So, you know, maintaining that throughout the season has definitely been their key to success.
Obviously, a challenging year for all the schools in Georgia high school and the country dealing with COVID-19, but it's not slowed Robbie Pruitt and Tucker Pruitt and the Hurricanes down. Can you talk about Coach Pruitt? And I believe his dad also coached there at Fitzgerald, and Tucker holding his dad's the tradition he started there with 20 straight seasons in the playoffs for Fitzgerald.
Yeah, so the Pruitt family, they are from Ben Hill. Tucker went to Fitzgerald and played for their football team. And obviously, you know, and then obviously when he graduated, he came back after his dad was the head coach there, and now he's the head coach. So he understands the expectations of this program. He has a lot of pride in this program. He knows that this is kind of the cornerstone for the community and, you know, what they all love to do on Friday nights. It's all about football there in Fitzgerald. So this is a program that he loves. He says it's a dream come true for him to be the head coach at Fitzgerald and for him to have all of the success that he's had in just the 4 seasons he's been there to be a serious state title contender if they can get past Fannin. It's definitely an incredible accomplishment he's been able to make in these short, 4 years.
Of course, we're speaking with Paige Dower from WALB Albany, ABC, NBC affiliate, Channel 10. She is a sports director there. Paige, can you give us some players to watch out for on the Fitzgerald end?
Yeah, so when we were talking about the offense earlier, I mentioned that they are a run-centric offense, and you can see that even in Mario Clark, you can see that in Chance Gamble. They're going to be that 1-2 punch for quarterback Rashad Davis. Chance Gamble, he is a guy who can basically do it all. He is sometimes their quarterback, wide receiver, and running back. They account for, I think, 35 of the Hurricanes touchdowns. So they're the 2 players that you definitely want to watch out for. And then on defense, just the way that I don't know if there's a standout guy that I can think of. They are a really selfless team. And again, with the turnovers in every game where they've won the turnover, they've obviously won every single game, but it's been a blowout. And even in those games where they didn't win the turnover battle or it was net zero, they were able to find ways to still come out, still win. You think about when they come up to Fannin on Friday, their game against Thomasville, where they didn't win the turnover battle, they were still able to find other ways to win. So that proves to hopefully everyone that they can win those tough road games. They can be in loud stadiums and still, take pride in being the away team and getting that win as well. So we'll see if they can do that on Friday, but I have some faith.
Absolutely a big game in Blue Ridge. One of the biggest games, arguably the biggest game since 1995 in Blue Ridge for the Fannin County Rebels, who are also undefeated as well. Paige, obviously you're located in South Georgia. We're located in North Georgia. High school football in North Georgia and South Georgia, you could say it's everything. It's not everything, but it's very close. I know everybody takes a lot of pride in South Georgia. What other games in your area are you guys maybe covering on Friday night?
Well, thanks to the universal coin toss, a lot of our games are actually on the road, so it's quite unfortunate for us. Crisp County, who is playing in the quarterfinals on Friday, is having a rematch with Cedar Grove, who they lost to in the state championship game last year. So there's definitely a lot riding on that game. Crisp County is our only 3A team in Southwest Georgia representing us. And then you have Brooks County, who's had a phenomenal season so far, definitely have a tough road ahead. Single A seems to be our hottest region. If Brooks County wins on Friday, they probably will run into Irwin County, who is always a state title contender. They're the defending state champion as well. So those are probably our biggest games that we'll be playing at home on Friday. Of course, a lot of our teams will be in Atlanta, like Colquitt and Valdosta and Lowndes.
Yeah, Valdosta, of course, playing Carrollton. I know you mentioned Irwin County. I know they are definitely hungry for another state title with the passing of their old former coach there in Buddy Knowles. So
yes,
Paige, thank you very much for joining the show with us tonight, especially on a late notice. I contacted you and you agreed to it just like that. So we definitely appreciate you and best of luck in your future as a sports reporter. Definitely got a bright future. We definitely appreciate you having you on tonight.
Yeah, perfect. And hopefully I can come back on next week when Fitzgerald wins, right?
We want the Rebels to win, but we may let you come back on.
All right, I won't hold you to it.
Yeah, Paige.
I think this needs to be her only appearance.
My only.
Maybe Paige, next year.
Yeah.
If you have a rematch, bring me back on.
You're welcome anytime, Paige, and thank you again for joining us tonight.
Of course, thank you guys for having me.
Next, we'll bring on Fannin County defensive line coach and head wrestling coach, good friend of mine, Chuck Patterson. Coach Patterson, thanks for coming on the show. Been a crazy few weeks.
That it has. Thanks for having me, Tim. Hey, everybody.
Coach, just briefly just talk about the last 2 weeks, man. Big win over Pace Academy, and obviously a crazy win last week against Heard County. It's hard. It's been hard to control everybody's emotions the last few weeks. It's been crazy.
Well, the easiest way to do that is just not control them. That's how I usually attack that situation. just don't worry about it. But yeah, the last 2 weeks, man, our kids have just really risen to the occasion on both sides of the ball and every facet of the game. Our coaching staff's done a tremendous job of getting the kids ready to where they can play fast and not think so much. It's like Coach Cheatham says all the time, we try to do simple better, and our kids do, and they do a great job of that. And our kids play with a lot of heart and a lot of tenacity. And I think it was some things coming out of region play that I don't know that the rest of the state thought we could do at this level. But obviously, our kids are rising to the occasion just like, we thought we could back in June when we started this thing.
Absolutely. I know, Coach, we were talking about Dade County. I know you've been a part of a lot of football teams, but obviously an undefeated season for the Rebels. I think this is your first ever undefeated regular season. But just talk about what it's meant like to be a part, what it's been to be a part of this undefeated football team.
Honestly, it's just, there aren't words to describe it. To be honest with you, I mean, the stress is there every Friday night. as if we were 0-10 and, nothing changes. I mean, the stress is always there, and the reward is always there every Friday night. I mean, it's just been every week in terms of the stress and the drama has been a season in itself, just to get to kickoff on Friday night. Once the ball's in the air on Friday night, it's almost like, weight's been lifted off everyone's shoulders and we can just play the game and coach the game, especially with COVID-19. And you never know what's going to happen at the end, on any given day, when you get an email or a text from an admin or somebody that's been shut down or quarantined or whatever. Again, we say it every week. It's okay. How many hours till kickoff? If we can just get to kickoff, we're going to be all right. And so far, with the exception of 2 games, we've been able to do that.
Yeah. A real blessing just to make it this far. Chuck, I want you to talk about the defensive line. I want to talk about somebody who really has been impressive to me the last few weeks and played a big game last week, and that's Ricardo Arianes. But I just want to give him a special shout out. Played very well last week, but obviously the whole defensive line's played well. But just talk about that group unit.
Well, I call when I took this job, and anytime I take one, you try to give kids ownership of their position. And that's with anything you coach, and our coaching staff does a great job of that. Right off the bat, even last year with guys like Jacob Tuggle out there that's graduating and playing at Reinhardt this year, I tell these guys to play with a nasty mentality, and we break it down every day on nasty because that's what you got to do, especially in the trenches in the defensive line. You're getting double teamed, you're getting kicked, and you got to play nasty. You got to play with some fierce tenacity. And we've got some guys out there who don't really, fit the mold in terms of height, weight, speed, but they're playing with a lot of heart and really good technique right now. And that's keeping them, a force to be reckoned with every Friday night. And that's just a tribute to the kids and the heart that they have. You're talking about Rico Arianes. We've tried to keep kids one way as much as we possibly can most of the year. But when it gets down to time, it's like the water boy. It's the last game of the year, Fred. Can't hold anything back now. So Rico does a great job on the pass rush. Jalen Ingram's done a great job for us this year, some on the D-line. My big anchor in the middle, Logan Long.
Big Logan Long. What a warrior.
And he's double teamed and triple teamed every Friday night, every down. And that frees up a lot of space for our linebackers to move because so many guys are having to move Logan out of there. He's 290 pounds and 6'3"
and just a young sophomore, young sophomore.
Just a baby. I mean, he had to start last year for us as a freshman, and I think that game experience has really helped him out. Dalton Ross, defensive end, has killed it in the weight room and has done everything I've asked him to do and everything the other coaches have asked him to do. I mean, the kid, like I said, plays with a lot of heart. He has 9.5 sacks on the year. It's just relentless pursuit of the ball and toughness. And, there was a couple of times against Pace Academy and Heard County where they were triple teaming Dalton out on the edge trying to get the edge on us, And sometimes Dalton gets on roller skates when you get 900 pounds blocking him and he ain't with about 185.
Yeah.
But like I said, that in our 3-3 stack scheme, that allows our linebackers to run free and make tackles. Another shout out, you got to give one to James Mercer. He's like a little, like a little feist dog in there. I mean, the kid's 160 pounds, soaking wet. But he finds ways to make plays. He hustles. He's tough as nails. And I've told him several times this year, James, you got to play like you're 250, man. And he does. Just from running his feet and pursuing the ball and just making plays. I mean, you can't ask for a better group of kids.
No.
You can keep all the 5 stars you want. I'll take my guys over anybody else right now.
Absolutely. And James Mercer was the one to apply the pressure on that 4th down play that Carson Collis broke it up. Just a great game for the whole Rebel football team.
I pulled a hamstring after that play.
I saw you jumping up and down. Yeah, I saw you.
I don't get a whole lot of air though.
No, you didn't. But I know I saw you bear hug Coach Collis too, and we need to check on Coach Collis's back. I'm sure that was But just a special time, and man, what a scene it's going to be in Blue Ridge Friday night as we host the number 1 ranked team in the Fitzgerald Purple Hurricanes.
We're excited about it, and I think we're going to give them. I think we're going to give them all they want, and I think we're going to win the ball game. I mean, these kids just find a way to win, and it doesn't matter who you put them up against. It doesn't. These kids find a way to win. If we're in a position to win in the fourth quarter, I'll drop a paycheck on it right now.
Absolutely. Coach Stone, you got anything?
Like I said, I was able to watch the ball game the other night, and the Pace game and the Herd game. The second half has been y'all's, and you can tell. Number one, your strength and condition is unbelievable. I mean, you guys are making these people wilt, but I can also see what you and Coach Turner and Coach Stigpen and Coach Cheatham are talking about is the will. We're going to take this thing and we're going to ram it down your throat. We're not going to get, they don't get. You can just see they don't get tore up about it. They're not in no big hurry and everything. And it just jumped out at me. Of course, us coaches, to watch a ball game, we got to have a clicker in our hand, run that one back.
Yeah.
But I think you mentioned it, and a lot of things that I was saying is you guys get great pressure on the quarterback. And I really was afraid of that quarterback the other night. And he wasn't a factor.
No, he wasn't. And we've done a good job of that all year. Just keeping guys in the cup and putting pressure on them and making them make quick decisions that they wouldn't otherwise make. This Friday, I think it's going to be a little different. I think they're going to try to kind of run it down our throat like what was her Megan? Was that her name?
Her name was Paige.
Paige. So I don't know where I got Megan from, but she's totally right. They're a very run heavy offense, and they like to throw as many bodies in the hole as they possibly can and try to squirt through there. And we've had to do a lot of things, or not a lot of things, just some adjustments and some mental notes to make sure we get lined up right, so we put our kids in a position to make plays on them, this week. So
I kept watching the other night. You guys, when they were throwing the ball, you guys were getting pressure with 3, and there's 8 people wandering around back there 10 yards deep, and there's just not a whole lot of holes to throw it in. So, I just think I think it's the makeup of those kids.
Absolutely.
I saw that 4 years ago when I last was around those, and they've just grown immensely, just exponentially. But she did use a word that I don't know if us coaches use.
What was that?
They were eccentric running. Was that not
run centric? Run centric's what. Yeah, that's the first
Does that
time.
mean they run up the center?
I knew what she meant.
You need to go in the morning, coach, and say, I've been looking at this film and they're run centric.
Well, they may send me to the soccer program if I do that.
That'll throw Cheatham off, or Turner.
You'll be with Chris Mathis after that.
Oh man!
But I just want to congratulate you guys. Y'all been, just super, and keep it up. I think you got a chance to win.
I think we do too. Just from watching them on film, and doing what we do week in and week out. I honestly feel better about this game than I did about Pace or Herd County. Not that Fitzgerald's not a great football team, because they are, but so are we.
No doubt.
The last 2 weeks has proven a lot to this coaching staff and these kids in this community, and I think we're ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, I tweeted on Sunday night that Fannin County football has arrived, and we have. We're here, and they know we're here now as well, as we are named GHSA Georgia High School Football Daily Team of the Week. We're on the map. I don't think we're going to sneak up on anybody now. You can pick against us. It don't hurt our feelings. You can have all the 4- and 5-star players. Don't hurt our feelings. Fannin County football is going to play. It don't matter who you are. They're not going to be intimidated. And I think that's a big attestment to this coaching staff is in previous years when we played these teams, when you played the Calhouns and Cedar Groves, it was new to these guys. there was a little bit of intimidation factor being on the big stage. Now the stage it's not big. It's big, but it's just another game to these guys. They're going to go out and play. It don't matter who you are.
Absolutely. Yeah, our kids are playing fearless right now, and it's not gonna stop Friday night.
No doubt.
No doubt. I mentioned this, I think, last week. I've had some teams that I've coached, and you get in the tide of a ball game, you see coaches getting tightened up or whatever, and you got one of your kids, one of your crazies come by and say, "Don't worry about it, coach. We got it. We got this." And you can almost see this out of this football team.
Oh yeah, they're amazing. It's a great group of kids, and we're not going to take a whole lot of step backwards next year either. We got good young kids coming up with great talent and great work ethic. I mean, to me, I think the Rebels are here to stay. So,
no doubt.
Go ahead and get ready for some long football seasons.
No doubt, Coach. Real quick, let's talk about the wrestling season coming up.
All right, let's talk.
I know it's been crazy for you because you've not been able to spend as much time with those guys as you want to.
Right.
But talk about the season coming up. Talk about some of the guys we need to watch out for. I know McKay Turner obviously being one of them. Great football player, by the way.
He is. That's not bad for a kid that hadn't played since 7th grade and comes out as all region is first team all region his senior year, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But from top to bottom, wrestling wise, once we get started, we're going to be hard to stop. I mean, from 106 all the way up, we had some good young kids come up, and Blake Summers and Zechariah Prater from the middle school at our bottom 2 weight classes. We got 2 seniors after those guys, and Colton Stevens and Kanan Henson. Drake Crantrell, Cooper Moreland have both worked hard to make themselves ready to be varsity wrestlers as sophomores. Carson Taylor Collis will be nice back-to-backs, as well as Corbin Davenport.
Also a pretty good football player.
Do what?
Also, Corbin Davenport, want to give a shout out. Played great Friday night.
Amazing. He's going to have to do it again this Friday.
Yeah.
Then, after McKay, we've got, Matthew Crowder, who's done a really good job working in the all season. Christian Newberry, who's going to come on just fine. Andrew Waldrop's going to come out.
Great.
Our linebacker as a sophomore. And I think once we get him technically, with some simple stuff, I think his aggression and athleticism are going to take him a long way. Christian Newberry has worked tremendously hard to get better at wrestling as a sophomore. He's going to do great. And then we'll have Logan Long and Mason Bundy up there up top at heavyweights, ready to rock and roll. Colby Shaw, another kid that's going to be in the mix somewhere. And Bryson Bradburn, a second-year senior that's going to be decent. So, we've got some guys that I think can make the equivalent of the, football run during wrestling season when we get to it.
Yeah,
we may get to it 2 weeks before postseason starts, depending on how this football season.
Coach Patterson, y'all redshirting up there now. You said you had a second-year senior.
Do what?
You said you had a second-year senior.
He's a second-year wrestler, but senior. But I'll take a couple of them on red shirt.
Be nice.
If you fall off that wall, they're never going to get you. Wherever you're sitting, you're going to fall off that wall and be down there on the field.
Yeah, I know it.
Obviously, we're talking about – obviously, the people listening to the podcast will not be able to see this, but Coach Patterson has – the best background we've ever seen on the Friday Night Press Box podcast. He's literally in one of Brett and Quintrell's helicopters high above the stadium. It's a great view, great shot. We've been giving him a hard time about it. So,
but that or the cat's litter box. That's like I said earlier.
But Coach Chuck Patterson, thank you so much for taking time to come out and come on this busy week, special week for Fannin County football. It's been a pleasure talking to you, Coach, and we'll definitely see you on later in the week.
Hey, appreciate y'all having me on, guys. Y'all have fun. We'll talk to you later.
Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Next, we'll bring on Matt Queen, which is kind of turned into a weekly segment. Matt, obviously former Fannin County quarterback on the 1995 team that's has received a lot of comparisons here as of late. Matt was on the call with Rebel Radio, Rebel TV, with Chris Mathis and Andy Arp last Friday. Matt, My gosh, what a win Friday night.
Tim, it was unbelievable. It was fun. It was entertaining. A lot of our little broadcast, a lot of phrases were born, such as cornbread strong, which Chris Mathis I don't think had ever heard, and I don't think he's ever had cornbread before. So that was a whole new thing for him, and so we've been able to introduce him to some good old phrases that we could use. But no, it was awesome, and it was fun, and it's great to see the Rebels be able to play at a high level, and obviously fight through injury and a couple of key things, but come out with a win, and it was fun. Up top, it was fun, and it looked like it was a blast down on the field as well.
Yeah, it was a blast everywhere. We were celebrating the press box. We were celebrating outside the press box. We were celebrating the stands on the field. It was a special time as we advanced to the quarterfinals for the first time since '95, which you were the quarterback of that season, Matt. Talk about, and obviously a special thanks to Chris Mathis, who we're going to bring in just a moment for filling in for Kevin Painter, as Painter was watching Laney at a golf tournament. Laney done really well that tournament, placed in second. So shout out to Laney Painter, future current Lady Rebel golfer. She's going to play college golf somewhere. She's a great asset to the whole program. But Matt, you were flipping out on the play. I've listened to the call. You were wooing like crazy. But talk about Carson Collis right there on fourth down, batting the play down. James Mercer getting the stop. Talk about what was going through your head right there as you and Andy and Chris were going crazy up in the booth.
No, and I think Collis really grew up that game. We got beat. We got beat deep several plays. I mean, it's just you can see the film, and that's a fact. And I'm like, if they would have connected, they could have been 2 to 3 touchdowns ahead of us. But Collis really, I think, grew up really quickly, and he's had to, but he made an outstanding play. A Mercer coming in, it seemed like we didn't get much pressure as we normally did possibly. And so it was good, but yeah, the excitement, I don't know how to control my emotions sometimes. And I just revert back to my childhood wrestling days and just Ric Flair, the whole thing, and it's just crazy. So, but not that I'm anyways, but super proud of those guys. We were talking about cornbread, but like when Logan Long grabbed their running back and just held on with his hand, and that kid
he wasn't going nowhere.
Anywhere.
No, he wasn't going nowhere.
And just no, and so it was good. I mean, like I said, the guys, of course, Reese. Well, it's been 2 weeks of Seth Reese and of just running hard and not giving up, and that's been fun to watch.
Yeah,
Chuck was talking about nasty, and being in Reese. He plays with that. He runs the ball like that, I think, and so that's fun to watch.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Andre Bivens, man. In my opinion, was one of the top players of the game, both sides of the football. Caught a touchdown pass, and he also played great at the corner position as well.
I thought that pass he caught was unbelievable. I didn't know he would get to it, honestly. I was kind of surprised. Like, wow, he got it and he turned. And so, but yeah, another great game. And I tell you what really got me excited as we was at the kickoff when Corbin Davenport went back to kickoff because he received that. And when he came around the corner, I honestly didn't think he was going to make it around the corner. I thought he was just going to get caught. But when he turned the corner and started upfield, I was like, oh my gosh. And that was exciting because I didn't realize he could run like that.
The sophomore class for the Rebels has really stepped up the last 2 games. I'm so excited to see their future. Matt, we got a big game this week. Just talk about what's going through your head as a fan. But what do you think is going through the players and the coaches' head? I know you obviously have a special relationship with those guys as well.
Yeah, I think I think Chuck's right. Is they see it as another game. I talked to the guys and they're like, they're a good team. I mean, obviously everybody's good at this point. And so being able to prepare and, get through, certain physical therapy through the week and stuff like that for some of them. But I think everybody will be ready to go. And as a fan, I mean, I'm super excited. I hope they win this. I mean, and a lot of people are already saying, oh, they don't have a chance or this and that. But heck, you don't know. You don't know. I mean, yeah, they're going to run it and they're going to try, but anything can happen. And that's just the way the game's played. And, I'm always pulling for the Rebels no matter what. And so, it's funny. People are calling in. I know, Tim, you've had calls this week of just random people, just with odd comments. And so, but the thing is, everybody in the community is just excited about this. And there's people from years ago being like, whoa, what's going on? People are so, Luke Holloway this, what about that? Is this going to happen? Is he going to be able to, and who are these people? You don't know who people are, but everybody's talking about the Rebels.
Yeah, it was crazy. Obviously, it's pandemonium Friday night, but we had basketball games at the recreation center on Saturday morning, and everybody you bumped into was, wow, what a game! Is this guy okay? Is this guy okay? There's just a certain buzz in this whole town that I can never ever remember.
And I think with our YouTube, Chris, what did it get up to? Was it close to 1,100?
1,096 at one time, and the broadcast right now on YouTube has over 4.5 thousand, like 46 likes.
4,600 people have viewed that. That's not counting everybody, but that's not counting people sitting in the living room watching either.
No, and that's crazy. So, I mean, I had some of my old football coaches that they were texting me right in the middle of it. And then, mine and Andy's phone, all three of our phones were just going off through the whole thing. They were all buzzing. And so there's a lot of excitement, and there should be. And so it's good for this team, to the community, everything, especially with this crazy year we got. And it's just, heck, who knows? 2020, get through this one, and we'll be ready for the next one.
Yeah, why not Fannin County? And in a year where so many people have had so many bad things happen to them in the year of 2020, this football team has brought so much joy and energy to so many people's lives, and heck, it's brought a lot of it to my life. I love these guys, I love these coaches. Special season.
It truly is. And it's funny, everybody, I'm tired of talking about 1995. I am I'm tired of it. I mean, like, okay, that's a long time ago. And we got to this spot. Yeah, okay, but these guys are 2020, and I think they deserve so much attention, and roll out the red carpet as much as you can for them. But they're a great group of just great guys to be around. And so, Tim, don't reference me as 1995 anymore, okay?
Okay, sorry, man. Fan. Sorry, no, 2020 Fannin County football fan.
Yeah,
color
commentator.
One thing I was going to ask, Tim, do you have any old throwback plays coming in? Anybody got the double pass? Or
1983. There's been a Twins double pass that's being drawn up for this week, and hopefully it may come into fruition. You never know.
I think if you run that flea flicker the first play of the game, that might get them off guard.
Yeah. Coach, you were going to ask Matt something last week when he got off here.
Oh gosh, that was last week.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
There's something about somebody.
Was it about 1995?
Oh, it was some guy named Bill.
Oh, that was a long time ago.
But,
great friend of mine is Matt's uncle, Bill Smith.
Yeah.
He was Cougar through and through, and I could work all night long after a Friday night football game, and we would drive to Columbia, South Carolina to watch a Tennessee football game, and you had to watch the last play of the game before you could ever leave. But no, that's a lot of memories. Bill died, what, a few years ago? I don't know.
Yeah. I tell you something funny about Bill, like in what Coach says, talking about being a Cougar through and through. Of course, we played Copper Base and all, and he would. It wasn't about me. It was about we're gonna beat you, or we're gonna try, And of course, he was a huge Tennessee, and I'm a Georgia fan. But he would take me as a kid to the Tennessee games, and that's when Georgia couldn't beat a Pop Warner team back then. And so maybe they're having trouble now. I don't know. But the thing is, he would sit there and quote the whole roster, the whole Tennessee team from memory. And so it was pretty wild, a man's love for football. It's kind of like us sitting around just talking about this. And but yeah, he was a cool guy.
Bill would come into my office, particularly during the off season, and he would start memorizing that roster. And, he'd say number 67 is Joe Smith from Murphy, North Carolina. He's 6'7", 298 pounds,
Yeah, it was wild.
But he thought the world. He thought the world of that. He really did. Now, he wouldn't,
Oh, he wouldn't let that be known too much.
If Matt was playing the Cougars, and no, there was no luck passed along with that Sunday dinner.
Oh yeah, you got that right.
While we're talking about fans, I want to give a shout out to Bill Prather and Jim Ezel, two guys. The Fannin County, it's been around the Fannin County football program for so long. They've given so much to the team. They're at almost every practice watching these guys. I just want to give a special shout out to those guys, and I know that win meant a lot to them last Friday too.
Tim, you brought that up, and I got to think about that last week when Holloway, the director of football operations, Ryan. I'm sorry, Ryan, but I think that's another way when you find out your football program is headed in the right direction, and is time when you got people like that. I've been at places where on Friday night at 7:15 there's people coming over there and saying, can we get 3 people over here to hold the chains, stuff like that. And you're, the chains is not out and this is not out. And then, the most successful years is that's already done for you. You got 4 guys standing over there to hold the chains. You got somebody to take care of the hospitality room, take care of the officials and all that stuff. And, I thought of that after Ryan went off. That's when you can tell that your football program is where it's at, where it's going. And, guys like Matt, when I was at Copper Basin and McMinn Central, we practiced every Thursday night. We practiced on Thursday night, and we had people come in and speak to our players. And that was when I knew our program was in good places, because we had that, and the kids were motivated and they look forward to that. So, I want to congratulate all those guys. I know when I was there, Jim and all those guys, that was their job on Friday. And certainly Ryan, being the director of football operations now, that's even that much better.
No doubt. It's special time, and I think we've all grew closer. Me and Matt text every day. Ryan Holloway, Jimmy Zell, Bill Prather, all these people that mean so much to the program. Go ahead, Coach.
Let me say one more thing. Fannin County, you folks have got something that I've always, and I started in 1982 as a full-time coach. In 1985, when I got my first head coaching job. And one of the things that I hated most of all was I had a kid over there sitting on the bench with a sprained ankle, and they'd say, Jimmy's back here with a sprained ankle. Well, I'm all into this game, and I need Jimmy out on the field. And I had to turn around there and go back there and say, let's put some tape on it and you go back out there, not knowing if he had a broke ankle or what. But a shout out needs to go out to Jeremy King.
And that whole athletic training staff, absolutely.
That is absolutely amazing. I finally got that put in. I ended up with an EMT on our sideline, and the guy would say, I'd say, can we get Jimmy back in the ball game? He'd say, I think he's got a broke bone in his ankle. No, you can't. He can't go back in.
Yeah.
And he would do things like you hear on college football, take their helmet away from him, and that thing would be locked up in the locker room before I could ever ask, whatever. But Fannin County's got it going on. Y'all are just everything that you got going on there. But I a real big shout out, I know, to Jeremy King. He took care of my son, and he was very honest with me. And I know a lot of other people that he's taken care of. We had a young man get just knocked flat out one night when I was there at Fannin, and he was very honest with the parents. No more. He's out. He's not going. He's not going to play next week. I mean, he was knocked out of the ball game, and that as a parent, as a coach, that you don't know how much weight and stress is taken off your shoulder when that guy makes that decision.
No doubt. Jeremy King, another guy that's been so pivotal to our success this year. So
I think Andy Arp's going to have to go see Jeremy King after he says he's having trouble with his shoulder this week after I hit him last week. So
I wished he'd have got his socks on. And now, how many people
said he couldn't raise his arm?
Andy Arp, hold on. Andy Arp is another guy that we need to mention. And shame on all of us for not mentioning Andy Arp. Andy Arp, Fannin County Quarterback Club president. Man, what a guy! What a job! What a thank for everything he does.
And he was one of the predecessors to Matt Queen, leading up to that undefeated season in 1995.
1995. I tell you, Andy is one of those guys that does more than anybody actually realizes. He's a solid. Yeah, he's a rebel now.
Shame on us for just now mentioning him.
Andy Arp, he's I consider him a great friend.
Goes above and beyond.
Yeah,
above and beyond. Thankful for everything Andy does.
And no matter how the season's going, Andy was always the same.
No.
Yes.
It don't matter if we're 1-9 or 10-0.
Right.
Yeah.
If we need something, Andy's there.
It don't matter if like the ref makes a bad call. Chris Mathis is always the same. It's kind of like Andy Arp. Chris Mathis shows no emotion or whatnot, and me and Andy are just ripping each other's arms off and having fun and screaming, "Go Rebels!" And he's at one time, you said, Coach, you said you took another comment. Mine first was cornbread, but then I called Chris out because he called us the Panthers during the broadcast.
Yeah, I heard that.
I mean, come on, you can't do that.
No, he did.
It's Rebel TV, baby.
And there's no editing that. I mean, it's
no. He said it's Panther Radio.
I owned up to it right then and there.
Hey, Chris, I've got it.
It's unbelievable. And I'm like, you can't do that. You
in my defense, every time I broadcasted play-by-play, it's been for Panthers. So that's my
Chris.
I think I said that on the broadcast. I said, hey, I do this.
The Panthers, last time, they hadn't played the last couple of weeks. I do know that.
Do they have a Let's go ahead and bring on Chris Mathis, WGRB's Chris Mathis, who was he filled in for Kevin Painter, and thank you so much for doing that last week, Chris. But good to see you again. Saw you today, but talk about what was it like broadcasting with Matt Queen and Andy Arp? We got to know.
It was fun. I really enjoyed it. I thought that they were a little bit more funny than I thought they would be. And typically I'm usually by the book. I get excited over big time plays or whatnot, but Matt and Andy, they were all over the place. There was one point in which my papers flew down. It was cold, man. It was real cold. and windy up top. And there's one point where my papers flew down on the floor right in front of the table. And he kept talking about how last week he almost jumped over the I guess you could say
the railing, which is a true story. He really did.
Oh,
I heard him yelling. I heard him yelling at the referee in the press box inside two closed doors.
Again, he's going to jump up because he goes over the table and goes to grab my papers like mid broadcast. And it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. I thought that it was cool to, have a quarterback from the 80s at Fannin County and then the big time quarterback from 1995, Matt Quinn, on the air with me.
Absolutely, Chris. Obviously a big win for the Rebels. Talk about just talk about the game from your vantage point. Obviously, being the play-by-play guy, being a obviously calling the game for Fannin County, which is something different for you. What did you like? What did you not like? Did you like the light show? I heard you talking about Christmas lights. Who needs Christmas lights when you come to Rebel Stadium?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought that was cool. Obviously, Fannin County is probably the best team that I've covered as of right now. The best team that I've covered in the last, I guess, going on 3 years. This March will be 3 years here at the radio station. And it was cool to be able to have that opportunity because I do talk to Cheatham and, a big time player from the week before on a weekly basis for my radio show on 95.1, 97.7. And it was cool to finally be able to get to see these guys play and not only just watch them play, but also call their game and see what makes this team so special. And it was apparent, even with 2 key injuries, 9 out of 10 football programs just lay down, pitch the tent, they're done. When you see your top receiver hobble off the field, literally make his way to the locker room, I want to say midway through the first half, and then your quarterback on the first or second offensive drive of the game gets shaken up pretty good there on the sideline. And at that point, it's a matter of how bad do they want it, because you can't do too much. I know Luke likes to run the ball. He was unable to run as much as he wanted to and couldn't hit as many passes as he wanted to last Friday night, but he controlled the ball, controlled the clock, and played smart, high IQ football. And, obviously got the job done, which, like I said before, if 2 of your best players have to leave the game or are injured or not 100% for a game, you don't like your chances typically. But with Fannin County, I liked the chances, and, they stepped up to the plate and hit the ball out of the park. So that was a lot of fun.
No doubt, Chris. Are you going to be at the game Friday night?
I do intend on being at the game Friday night, but if I am unable to make it, FanninRebelTV.com is the place for not you, Tim, but for the listeners and myself to be.
Yeah. And obviously that's Fannin Rebel TV is great, but if you can make it, the team needs you there. The team needs you there. The coaches need you there. They feed off the energy. They feed off the crowd noise. Obviously, we want everybody to be there, but if you can't make it, Fannin Rebel TV's got you covered.
You mentioned the light show that I mentioned on the broadcast Friday night. I thought that the way that Fannin County entered the field or walked out onto the field was subpar. Cool, calm, collective, down to business, single file line. And then right there, about 5 yards from the sideline, Cheatham just starts getting these guys amped up and ready to go. It was a lot of fun. It was something I've never seen before.
It's a special entrance. It's an entrance unlike any other. As far as I know, we may be the only high school football team in Georgia that enters due to a light show. I've never seen any video with any other team. I'm sure there is, but it's definitely cool.
The PA guy at Fannin does a good job of getting the crowd into it as well. Those guys and men and women are on their feet.
When he's allowed to. When he's allowed to.
Yeah, I love your third downs when we're on defense.
Yeah,
you really emphasize that. Hey,
yeah,
Tim, real quick. Hey, do you know the entrance music yet?
I don't. Do you?
No, I'm just curious what it's going to be.
No, it should be.
I'm excited
because
I was going to listen to it for the rest of the week.
I'll make it. We'll just text Cheatham right now. He's probably asleep.
He's
he'll
playing.
be all right.
He's playing with Ollie.
He's watching film. But yeah, it's gonna be a special scene. Chris, got anything before we tell you goodbye?
Just go Rebels. I think that it's definitely a winnable game. This team has not shied away from any opponent all year round. I get Fitzgerald 11-0. I looked at some stats before the broadcast, and you hear it a lot. Teams play better at home. Well, that's truly the case for Fitzgerald. As their points scored on the road are a little bit less than they do at home, and points allowed are quite a bit more, when they're on the road. So 2 key stats, obviously, and just have to win the turnover battle. And, Seth Reese, the running back for Fannin County, just as of the last 2 weeks has been a game changer without question. The most dominant running back I've ever witnessed play the game. And it's not because he's fast. It's not because he's strong. The guy just never goes down. He never goes down. There's one play where I forget if it was a quick dump off pass or screen pass from Holloway, and Reese ran back behind Holloway for what could have been a loss of 3, 4, 5 yards, ran forward and got 8 more yards. So a total of 13 yards on a run. And that was when it was like, okay, this guy, he came to play this week. And if he can do even half of what he's done the last 2 weeks, I like Fannin County's chances in this one.
You mentioned that, Chris. I think Fannin County does have the home field advantage. It's going to be cold. Fitzgerald's not used to playing in cold weather. And obviously the crowd, the 12th man could be a factor. So very good point right there. Chris Mathis, WJRB 95.1. Chris, as a Rebel fan, I personally want to thank you for everything you've done this season for the Fannin County Rebels to bring attention to them, all your interviews, your players of the weeks. I understand you live in Union County, WJRB. They're more of a union affiliated people, but you still branch out and give Fannin County coverage. And that means a lot to everybody. So for somebody who loves the Fannin County Rebels, thank you so much for giving these guys exposure.
I tell you what, if I ever come out of retirement and take a coaching job, the first hire I'm going to make is not offensive or defensive coordinator. It's going to be Chris Mathis. This guy right here can rev some people up.
Yeah. The thing is, I don't think anybody's seen the motivational side as much as I want. One day I hope and aspire to be a motivational speaker, but I have to wait till I get to that ESPN level before I think people will take me seriously. But when I get there, that's a plan. So yeah, I'd love to see. I think my biggest thing is getting the recognition out, the accolades out to guys and women, athletics as well, that put in the work and work hard even in the off season. They want it badly, and not just one that shows up for practice, ones that want to show up for practice, work on the weekends, work after practice, see coaches, watch additional film, weekdays, nights before bed. And then Friday comes around, they're ready to go for a football game. And I mean, it was crazy how much outreach I got from Fannin County fans on Twitter Friday night. That was by far the most listened to broadcast I've ever had. And I would venture to say I had 10, 11 people, and 7 of them I've not really talked to much reach out to me. And that meant a lot, So I loved calling the game and pulling for Fannin County this week, obviously, as they take on a very good Fitzgerald program. But I believe in this Rebel football team. And more importantly, I believe in the coaching staff with Chad Cheatham. Just without question, one of the better coaches in any sport that I've ever worked with. And it shows underneath the lights on Friday night.
No doubt.
Hey,
Chris, thanks.
Chris, have you gotten your Rebel gear yet?
Oh, dang.
I have not. No, I have not.
Somebody dropped the ball on that one.
I think it's the PA guy at Fannin. And I spoke to my agent this week to reach out to that gentleman and say, hey, I thought last Friday night I would have it. But
3 times Chris asked me to bring him a Fannin County Rebels shirt. 3 times.
And you saw him today, right?
I did. Sure did. 3 times he asked me to bring a Fannin County Rebels shirt. 3 times I told him I would. What I do Friday night, I forgot it.
All you got to do is show up in Union County purple, and they'll cover that up.
That's right.
You want to hear the dedication? I guess 2 weeks ago against Pace Academy, I called the game for Union at Heard County, drove through Blue Ridge. Tim said, hey, stop by if you're willing to, if you can. I did. I threw on a WJRB shirt over my Purple Panther shirt, walked in, and diehard Rebel fan right then and there. So
he did. He sure did. Now there was a Panther shirt underneath it, but he put it over it.
And I have to make one more comment. A Panther fan, someone that has been a part of Union County athletics for a long time, messaged me on Facebook and said something along the lines of, hey, it's cool. We will not make a big deal of you referencing Fannin County as we or us in that broadcast like you did Friday night. I'm telling you, I mean, I think I had several people from Towns County reach out to me and say they were pulling for Fannin County. Union County coaches were pulling for Union County or for Fannin County. Even the athletic director at Union County texted me and said that she was excited for Fannin County in the football program this year. And I mean, that just says a lot about, at the end of the day, no matter what color uniform or how big of a rival you are to a program, that just seeing success in our local area is big, and watching these guys play at a high level is most important.
Oh, no doubt.
Awesome.
No doubt. And I mean, I think when you get to the playoffs, all the mountain schools pull for the mountain schools. I mean, we were all pulling for Union County in round one when they played Herd. I mean, so it's definitely good to see. But Chris Mathis, WJRB 95.1, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
And now Coach, we'll briefly recap some of the TSSAA state championships. Obviously, the big one, Fayetteville, beating South Pitt.
Well, I kept saying in last week's show that might be a running clock. Apparently, whoever had that scout on that team was a heck of a football team.
No doubt.
I mean, they were fast on defense, had a very good offense, and they wasn't out of their class. That wasn't an upset by any means, and it turned out to be one of the best football games of the weekend.
No doubt.
Fayetteville ended up winning the thing. I forgot the score, but it was pretty good.
Our Jake Taylor was at the game. He was tweeting live at the ball game, and shockingly, he just said, Fayetteville really just wanted it more, and they outcoached them. So just a crazy scene. As the final score was 20-14, Fayetteville, as they took the Class 1A state title.
Tim, one of the things I had the privilege to coach in East Tennessee, from the top level all the way down to single A, and I've always envied Georgia high school football. I have envied Georgia high school football. I wish Tennessee high school football was on their level. I think some schools are trying to do that, but a lot of schools in Tennessee high school is just, let's play some ball games on Friday night. And I hope nobody gets mad at me about that statement. But, as I watched that, we played, when I was at Fannin, we played in AAA. And I don't think anybody we had out there in 2, 3, or 4A could have played with any of the big boys in Georgia.
Definitely. Other than that, there was no really other upsets. Macaulay won. Alcoa took care of business. So really, other than that, there was really no other surprises in the state championships in Cookeville.
Oakland was a very good football team in 6A, super football team. They were super, and they had a lot of speed. They played great defense. It's just like what we talked about. Teams who play great defense, particularly, they're the teams that's going to be always in the ball games. And I think every team that won the state championships in Cookeville played great defense, and I think you'll be able to say that. I think you say that about Fannin right now. Play great defense, got a good offense, good kicking game. And I think that's where the successes of Fannin County is coming from.
I do want to give a special shout out to Hunter Frame for South Pittsburgh, running back, defensive back, was awarded Tennessee Titans 2020 Mr. Football winner. So definitely a big shout out to Hunter Frame.
Well, they just bottled him up all day. He had a great game, but he wasn't getting away, and he's not a big guy. And but I give a lot of credit to Fayetteville.
No doubt. TSSAA season comes to an end. Georgia's in the quarterfinals. Coach, it just seems like, last week we were just talking on here. We don't know if we was going to make it to next week, but, shout out to all these coaches and these athletic trainers and school administration for working to get this far. I mean, it's just, and honestly, Coach, I'm going to be honest with you. When we sat here week one, I didn't think we'd be here in December the 9th, still talking high school football.
I really didn't either. I didn't have a good feeling about it. I went to some football games, they're talking about everybody wearing masks and sitting apart and everything. First football game I went to, nobody had a mask on or anything like that. I sit there in amazement as to how we got this far. Let me ask you something, Tim. The Georgia state championship games, are they the day after Christmas?
I think they're the 27th, 28th, and 29th.
Sunday, Monday.
Of course, they're at Turner Field. They're at, they call it something else now.
Georgia State owns it.
Yeah. They call it something else, but all the games are at Turner Field. What's interesting, Coach, is Fulton County is not allowing any fans in their stadiums right now. But I believe they're going to allow fans for the state championship. So that's something to just kind of keep an eye on. The Class A private game, the championship, will be played on December 28th at 5 o'clock. The Class A public state championship game will be played on December 28th at 8 o'clock. The AA game, the AA state championship game, will be played at noon on December 29th.
Well, I was just,
No,
go ahead.
The AAA game will be played December 30th at noon. The 4A game will follow the 2A game at 3:30 on December the 29th. The 5A game will be on the 30th, and it'll follow the 3A game on December 30th. The 6A game will start at 7 p.m. on the 29th, and the 7A game will start at 7 p.m. on the 30th. So there's your dates there for the championships there. The 28th is going to be Class AA, 2A, 4A, and 6A are going to play on the 29th, and 3A, 5A, and 7A will play on the 30th.
Well, I was sitting thinking about it today. Are they going to play? Christmas is on Friday. Surely they're not going to play any of those games on the 26th.
No.
That would be a nightmare to.
And they're not. They're going to play Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So
that's great. Everybody's out of school.
Yeah, it should be fun, and I have a good feeling there's going to be a good amount of people that may attend those games.
Well, that's what I was getting ready to say to you. If Fulton County wasn't letting anybody in the stadiums, they stand to lose a lot of money.
No doubt.
Coming in there and maybe staying 3 or 4 days.
No doubt. Well, Coach, we'll close the show. Another great show. We'll release this tomorrow at Thursday at 7 p.m. Best of luck to the Fannin County Rebels. They're really the only local team around playing. Raven County's still in it. They'll play against Beckley County. But best of luck to everybody. If you still have a team playing in it, best of luck to your team. Well wishes. Hope no one gets hurt. And should be another exciting night of football.
Blackley's the one that's got big Amarius.
Yes. Marius Mims will play Gunner Stockton. 2 of the best players in the country will be in Tiger, Georgia on Friday night.
That's what I thought. Be a good football game.
No doubt.